in to Athletics LLC with Lamar, Lucius, Big League Chew, and my man Clyde, and the governor. You're about to be schooled in all things track and field. This is experience. Yes, sir. We are talking past, present, future. Y'all listen up. Let's go.
And we're recording. Welcome, welcome one, welcome all. It's another evening of fun shenanigans with Athletics LLC. So at it again, week in, week out, all of it here, all 5 tiles coming at you with some stuff, literally some stuff this week. So blessed is here. If you only
literally with some stuff.
Literally. But I'll say this because I've had a lot of questions about this before I say hello to everybody. I can confirm there is going to be more than a conservative effort to do an Athletics LLC live from the convention. I'm sorry. Figuring it out because from what I understand, Governor, please confirm or deny that you will not be in attendance in Denver.
I can neither confirm nor deny.
Oh, are we bringing him out of the hat? Uh-oh, look what Athletics LLC did. The governor might make an appearance at the convention.
Yes.
Just for the
Love
show.
it.
Stay tuned. I'll be
I
in
mean-
for the show and then, yeah.
I mean, so you and Sir Lucius are taking the same private jet. Got it.
Mhm.
Oh,
Understood.
wow.
Jeff is
Okay.
stopping in San Antonio briefly.
En route.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick him up along the way.
Yes.
He's gonna make you parachute out.
Right.
How funny would that be? I would be entertained. Anyhow, okay, so live Athletics LLC. It will be on Thursday, FYI. That FYI was for the panel moreover than
I was like-
the audience.
All right.
With our scheduling. So FYI, but we will definitely make that a thing again. That was highly received and many have reached out already in regards to that. So we want to make sure that's out on the waiver wire, not the waiver wire.
You
But-
think, think Sir Lucius can get us on the dais this time and actually get us like indoors and in a room with like
I
a,
wasn't
definitely
asked
gonna
to
be
get you
inside.
indoors last time. Yeah.
Yeah, we were trying to be
That's
outside.
Colorado. We're definitely going to be inside this time.
yeah. So Sir Lucius, can you get us a dais? Can you get us a room?
I mean, we'll take over a room because we not gonna be outside.
Definitely gonna be outside.
I can see it now. Like everybody just huddle around. So what about,
Are we done?
speaking of January, you know.
Right. Oh man. Well, starting it off with the gentleman we were just speaking about. Governor, how are you tonight, sir?
Doing fine. We blinked and we're 10 weeks into training. Right?
I mean, look on the other side of it. Thanksgiving break is in like 10 days.
You have to be careful when you're telling your athletes about how quickly things matriculate in the fall, when you just get into that grind and the routine, and then now all we're worried about is who's going to keep their head together through Thanksgiving and then come back for that one celebratory week, and then school's over and you're like, okay, who's going to show up in January out of shape?
Yeah, don't undo this, please. Please don't undo this.
Rinse and repeat. Rinse and repeat.
Right? Oh my goodness. Well, Clyde, how you doing?
You know, I got rained on this week, which is rare.
Oh, that happened here too.
You know, I wasn't too happy about it. It's been an odd week thus far, but we are here, so it's always a good time when we are here.
Are your socks wet right now?
No, not today.
Okay, I was like, you sound like your socks are wet right now.
No. I'm still dealing with the residue of, like, I'm still upset about that whole thing.
Yes. That is factual. Factual. Lamar the Lion, how are you today, sir?
And I'm pretty spectacular. Since the last I saw you, wonderful
Wow.
people.
I know, we
have-
haven't gotten that response.
I mean, since last I saw you, wonderful people, I've been to Boise, Idaho for a Hall of Fame induction, and
Awesome.
been out to Phoenix, Arizona, and Tucson, Arizona, and Glendale, Arizona, and a few other places in Arizona. Been pretty good. My golf game's getting a little bit better. We started practice back with one Mr. Victor. So yeah, we're rolling pretty good right now.
In there like swimwear. Dig it.
You know,
Definitely.
I will say this one thing though. We were talking about how fast stuff goes. LSU baseball put out a thing today that's 100 days till the first game.
Mm,
I was like, I don't need that in my life at all.
yeah.
It's like somebody punched me in the ribs.
Yep.
Yeah. So there you go. It's coming. It's coming, folks. It's coming.
It's happening. Last but definitely not least ever, Sir Lucius. How are you today, sir?
I am well. I am well. Just like the governor, excited about fall training, and I mean it's the start of the signing period, so we should all just be turning backflips right now, right?
Sure.
Exactly.
Backflips?
Exactly. We should be, but we aren't, because in no world does it make sense that we start signing folks in November and it goes all the way to next month.
Okay. All right. Let's hold on now.
Stop yelling.
I'm just saying.
Stop yelling at us.
So do you remember like when we had the two different signing periods? I don't know why we ever let anybody take that away, because I feel like that was such a better
Lamar,
system.
are we going to talk about this now?
No, you're right. I'm sorry. I will save that.
Yeah, see, I stopped.
I
I just made my point. We
Yep.
should be excited, and we're not. I kind of lobbed that up there as a prelude. And you want to spoil it all?
No,
I
I
tell you,
don't.
boy.
I don't.
Hey, give a cat a piece of rope. Want to be a cowboy every time.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right.
Get control,
That's funny.
Stu. Get control.
Yes.
I know. Reel them in. See, it's funny because you guys conjured this up. I'm currently responding to a text about a preferred walk-on agreement. So thanks. Thanks for conjuring that one on.
All right.
Put that on up. Don't you dare. Prefer to walk on agreement. There's nothing good that sounds about that. Nothing. Nothing.
So I need that emoji face over my face right now so that you can't see the face that I'm making.
There's a contract legally binding you to nothing.
There you go.
See, look, now
All
you're
right.
you're getting everybody in their seats who has preferred walk-on agreements already out.
Yep.
And they're like,
They're like, wait, hold on, what?
so wait, we shouldn't have sent those out.
Ooh, man.
Oh, anyhow.
If y'all keep playing, we may as well just reorder the whole show.
Nope.
I know.
Nope, we're not gonna do it. Nope.
See,
All right,
we're always going on the
focus.
plan.
Focus too.
No, I'm ADD today. Like it's off the hooks today.
Nope. Oh, wait. I gave you the test. You did fail. So maybe you actually are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I am. I have ADHD to the full, self-diagnosed.
Yeah. Well, we don't have to really
Self-diagnosed.
self-diagnose at this point. I mean,
Anyhow, moving on. See, look, that was worse.
Please.
He took that. That was all his fault. Okay. Back on the tracks. So honestly, there was a lot going on this week, and it's only Wednesday for us recording. One of the more call it conversational pieces at this point, leading into this point of the week, is what's going on with a former NFL player, two former NFL players, I should say, and what positions one is holding and one isn't holding at this point, and the views from the outside looking in and whatnot. So the governor, if you wouldn't mind, just I lofted up then there for you. Let's fill in the spaces. Let's see who's going to interrupt you first. That's basically what I'm doing.
Okay, so the owner of the Indianapolis Colts, who fired his head coach, Frank Reich, and not too long after that announced that he was hiring Jeff Saturday, who was an ESPN pundit, as his interim head coach. And the whole reason why he was able to pull this stunt, and I call it a stunt, is that there is no Rooney Rule that applies to the interim head coach position. You don't have to go through the process of, figuring out or bringing in multiple candidates, making sure you're bringing an African-American candidate into the mix. And in my opinion, this move made by ADs at universities that are trying to appease donors. I've seen this happen. I've seen situations like this happen where you're literally bringing someone in to keep the peace, or to make sure that the Colts faithful, know that somebody that, was a part of a winning era of the Colts is now, is in there. So everything's good, people. We're going to keep everything. We're going to get everybody through the season. Everybody's going to be happy. I'm guessing you're talking about Steve Nash, as far as him being fired. Did
No,
you...
not yet.
Okay, all right. So obviously, it has brought about a whole lot of conversation now regarding, this is another example of these professional sports owners that are just stepping out and doing whatever they want, okay? And they're making these decisions, and there's no regard to, any sort of investigation, any sort of background work, any sort of, this move by Jim Irsay is, will go down, in my opinion, as one of the most, like, he just went with what he felt. He felt
Reckless
like
is the word I think of.
he felt like this was the best move for him, so curious to know what everybody else on this on this panel thinks. I just think it's just it just flies in the face of professionalism. I think it flies in the face of, it's just another example of an owner just doing whatever he wants. Try and stop me.
I think so. Directly linking, before everybody else goes off on it, directly linking what we talk about as collegiate coaches and how there's a lack of professionalism, and in a couple of circles that I've been in recently, it was said, don't worry about getting such and such certification. Don't worry about this accolade. Just make sure you know the right people at the right time. And there's truth to that. But you've got to be able to do the job when you got the job. So it's bewildering and whatnot. So that's all I got to say about that.
Okay. My other two colleagues seem like they're taking their time here. I can see by the face of the EP.
Well, and if you would like, because I think I'm gonna have the least to say about this, so I'll be more than happy to go here. Because,
please go ahead. The EP is clearly waiting to close. So yes, he is. So I will be more than happy to run down the backstretch with this one. So I think the biggest thing here is, clearly this draws the lines of racism that we've talked about forever. There's the faction out there that says it's his team, he can do what he wants. Yes, he can. There's no doubt about that. But just because he can do what he wants does not make it right. There's just too many times where qualified people
of any race, in this case, are getting overlooked. But I just don't understand how we continue to, these things continue to happen and nobody seems to care, you know. And it's going to be, you know, like I said, this during the Black Lives Matters movement, everybody gets upset for 3 or 4 months and then quiets and it goes away. So this will be headlines for about 2 or 3 weeks, and then they'll just sneak quietly into the night. And then if he does a good job, he'll be the full-time coach in 9 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
There you have it. Yeah.
Okay, now see, I'm glad you went, because you slightly changed where I wanted to go with my comments. So, okay, let me try to get the low-hanging fruit out of the way with this. It's what just happened, what Jim Irsay just did is 100% unprofessional. It is 100% a slap in the face to the profession of coaching and what it's supposed to mean to, you know, come into this industry, learn, work hard, grind your way up the ladder to eventually land yourself in one of these coveted chairs, as we often refer to them, right? It's totally unprofessional. And I'm not here for it. It was so unprofessional. I literally laughed when I saw it on ESPN. And let's be clear, I actually love Jeff Saturday. Huge fan of him. I think he's great on television. And because he's smart and understands football, he might do a good job. Him doing a good job, to me, on the professionalism side is completely inconsequential to the issue. It doesn't matter. Having said that, I want to say this. I'm not here for the hire and the way it went down, but I'm also not here for the fake outrage about it. And let me say what I mean by fake outrage about it. I wasn't really going to go here. I was trying to avoid it, but I just can't get past it. All the players in the NFL that are on Twitter, hot with the fingers, shut up. You don't really care, because if you cared, you actually have the power to do something about these things. But you just like to talk in the moment. And to Sir Lucius's point, you're going to go on and play the games and roll with the punches anyway. So the fake outrage, I'm not really here for that. There have been many, many people in the media that have made very, very quality points. But there are other examples out there when professionalism is given the middle finger that all of a sudden you're here for. And this is what I mean. If your problem with the Jeff Saturday hire is, and it seems to be the main problem, that there are so many other qualified Black coaches who have been in the game, fought for their positions, did the grinding, have the resume, and have been slighted, have been cut in line by creating this narrative and this position for Jeff Saturday to run the Colts, all that's true. But then where's your outrage for Deion Sanders running Jackson State? Because he did the exact same thing. And if it's okay for Black professional coaches to be cut out of that mix, if Deion gets a pass because he's Black, those same people that are being cut out of, their line and their opportunity, those are still Black coaches that are missing those opportunities on either side. So Jeff Saturday took an opportunity away from qualified Black coaches, and so did Deion Sanders. So if you're mad about that for that reason, then be mad about that for the exact same reason. Prime's there, he's doing a good job by all accounts, right? But a whole bunch of people that have been dying to be in those chairs lost that opportunity. So, I think it's a mess. And the funny part is, the funny, not funny part is that the NFL is a private industry owned by billionaire owners. So Jim Irsay's attitude, wrongfully so in my eyes, is exactly what y'all said it is. I own this team and I'm gonna do the hell what I want with this team.
Mm-hmm.
That is insulting But to me, it's less insulting than a public university doing the exact same thing. So, you know, when this stuff goes on at the collegiate level, to me, it's actually more offensive. But listen, people are going to do what they want to do with their teams. The Rooney Rule is good in theory, but obviously doesn't change much. And if you want to find a way around it, you're going to find a way around it. So, you know, if you're outraged, then be outraged. Just be consistent. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, I didn't think it was possible, but you've actually given me more to unpack than I already had. So I'm going to try to segment this. I'm going to start.
I would like everybody to buckle up because we're going around the block for this.
I will start where you left us. College is college and pro is pro. And I couldn't agree with you more. Dion skipped a bunch of people, but he's like one of probably 500 examples we can give you, black and white, of glorified college athletes or otherwise qualified, but not necessarily by resume qualified to be college coach, insert college coach hire here. So I agree with you from the college perspective that happens. I will also say that it's college, and part of the reason it happens is because you have alumni bases and donors. So having left that alone, I'm going to jump to where I think the crux of this issue is. For the record, I too, very much like you, I like and respect Jeff Saturday and his knowledge base. I don't even necessarily assume that he's not going to be great at the job, because he may very well be great at the job. But my issue is very, very simple. That goalpost was absolutely and positively moved for Jeff Saturday. And it was moved because Jeff Saturday is easy for the owner to go have a beer with, because they share cultural backgrounds. And at the end of the day, am I saying that it's wrong for him to hire Jeff Saturday over Reggie Wayne? Like, no, because I don't know what Reggie Wayne's qualifications are either, but I do know this. Any justification you have for hiring Jeff Saturday, Reggie Wayne checks the same box and is already on the staff.
Yep.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So that, like, the optics of that are bad and the reality of that is worse. But where I really want to go is this. The fact that we had to have the Rooney Rule tells you all that's wrong with the NFL, right? And if you have to have a Rooney Rule, then you're blind and stupid if you think they're ever going to actually enforce it. They're being forced to have it in the first place. But you're not about to tell billionaires how they can do things. It's just not going to happen, right? And so at the end of the day, I mean, that's why I laugh about the whole Daniel Snyder thing. That tells you how bad a human he is, because like the most entitled group of people on the entire planet have decided, nope, he can't be part of us anymore. Right. So
you can't sit at our table.
It's like, nope, you can't sit at the table. We know you're white and rich and old, but no, you don't. You don't belong in this club anymore.
Really?
I mean, that's like, listen. If it walks like a duck, quack,
quack. Yeah.
So my bigger issue, right, is that what the TV heads are going to now do is deplorable, because they're going to help feed the narrative that this is about Jeff Saturday and Reggie Wayne, and it is not. It is about what the hiring of Jeff Saturday represents. It's not about him, right? Like, because at the end of the day, and the governor slid it in there immediately, this is an immediate and intentional usurping of the Rooney Rule. Mm-hmm. Because if you put him in the interim tag, you don't have to vet him. And if he does, as long as he's not 1-8 in their last 9 games, right? You can make him the head coach if that's what you want to do. I'm not even saying that's what he's necessarily going to do. But my biggest issue with all of this is like, you have the right to hire anyone you want, but you don't have the right to usurp the process, right? Like at the end of the day, like you just don't want to like spend the time to talk to Reggie Wayne and one other Black person. You can still hire Jeff Saturday. Nobody cares, right? It's just that you like, they are so hell-bent on doing it their way and showing you that, like, we're going to be the way we want to be and there's nothing you can do about it, that they don't even have the time to be bothered with the Rooney Rule. It only requires them to interview them. I mean, and that's so bad that like Eric Bieniemy and Todd Bowles and Byron Leftwich all stated for the record that they knew they had been token interviews, right? And that's why we all love Bruce Arians, because Bruce Arians,
the Dolphins, the head coach of the Dolphins, same thing.
Bruce Arians vice versa the Rooney Rule, because he slid Todd Bowles in as the interim.
Yep.
And I think he was the interim. I think he had the interim tag for a week, and it was in the off season.
Right. So somewhere, you know, in our space, owner of the Houston Texans is probably punching the air right now, because he had every plan to hire Josh McCown, who also had no head coach experience, no NFL head coach experience. And because of the public scrutiny, because of it was immediate, it was fast, and it was furious. And just as quickly as this idea was floated, whoop, nope, can't do it. Can't do it, you know? So it's not that Jim Irsay is alone in this thinking.
Not at all.
These folks, these owners, these billionaire owners are going to do whatever they want. And as long as it does not hurt their brand, and as long as they can figure out a way to find the crack in the facade, we're going to see more of this, in my opinion.
And let's be clear, it doesn't hurt their brand. It absolutely doesn't. And that's what I mean. Like I get it. In the moment, it feels terrible, and you want to have something to say about it. But like I said, some people, I'm cool with what they have to say because they're consistent and they've always been on this page. But the majority of people, if it was a different person on a different team and they so happen to hire the guy you like, you wouldn't have nothing to say. And that goes to the players. You could look at the NBA. You got all the NBA players that all try to act like they want to ride to see more Black coaches in chairs. But everybody was good with Steve Nash everybody in Brooklyn was good with Steve Nash getting that job. Kevin Durant stepped out. No, what do you mean? Yeah, that's who we wanted. Kyrie, like that's who we wanted. And we all understand that Kyrie got issues and whatever, but that's what they do. If it's their guy, if it's someone they're a fan of, they're cool with it. Yeah. So it's really not this kumbaya, let's all stand together for what's right issue. Like most people don't really care about what's right. They don't care. They just, they just do the convenient thing in the moment. And I find it ironically funny because that's the exact same attitude that the owners have. We're going to do what's convenient in the moment for me. This is my team. I spent the money. You're not about to tell me anything. And honestly, I think it's wrong and I think it's unprofessional, but I totally understand that instinct.
I'll say this. I think the greatest Houdini trick ever done is by the Miami Dolphins ownership.
Don't you? Okay, we can go there. We can
go there. They were. Let me finish. They were incredibly undermining and racist to Brian Flores.
Yes, they were.
Yes, they were.
And the wild part was, because of the way he looks and how few people really knew, there were a few idiots before they had fact checked that were actually about to call the Dolphins racist because they fired Brian Flores and they hired a white guy. And I was like, don't say.
Right.
Like he's
Mr. McDaniel is the black man.
Mr. McDaniel is without question, as you call him, a mixed baby. I think he would have a harder time convincing somebody he was a head football coach than convincing them that he was black. Both would be difficult just because of optics, but I think he looks less like the head football coach in the NFL than anything.
Yeah.
But I thought that was the greatest Houdini trick ever done, because they were absolutely and positively guilty of all the things that Brian Flores accused them of.
Sure.
But to your point, Clyde, he wasn't their guy.
No, he wasn't. And again, the irony of all of that, and remember, I'm a Bill Belichick fan. Big time Bill Belichick fan. So by proxy, I'm a Brian Flores fan. Brian Flores did an excellent job in Miami.
He did about as good a job as you can do.
Right. But McDaniel's doing a better job.
Okay, but stop right there.
He's doing a better job.
Okay, that's like saying the first 2 years that Steve Kerr did a better job than Mark Jackson, because that's just not true. He did a really good job with the team Mark Jackson put together and Mark Jackson made. Right. Sure. So let's be clear. Listen, I love McDaniel, but let's not play that narrative.
May I ask a question? Because I'm a little behind the curve here. So Steve Kerr, did he win more than Mark Jackson did?
Yes.
Well, now, yes, but in the
I'm talking about in the first 2 years.
Yes.
His first two and Mark Jackson's last two, yes, but that's kind of the point that was being built. Am I wrong?
I'm not saying that you're wrong, but I don't think that you can discount Clyde's point that he did a better job because they had a better record.
And the funny thing is, with the football example, I mean, it's even more stark, right? Listen, again, I'm a fan of Brian Flores, and I think he did an excellent job. But Brian Flores' calling card is all about defense, right? The defense was pretty damn good. The offense was for sure lacking, and it's their lack of offensive productivity that cost them where they wanted to go, right?
But they wouldn't let him make personnel moves that he wanted.
Okay, that's fine. All I'm saying is right now, the Miami offense is amazing.
They have Tyreek Hill.
They have all kind of different things, but that's the point. They made a coaching change and decided to not only make a coaching change, but invest in the pieces to make the offense better.
And that was the crux of Brian Flores' entire argument, is that they told him he did not have any say in personnel decisions. He didn't want to draft Tua. He wanted to take another wide receiver besides Jalen Waddle. So wait, the following year they go get him Tyreek Hill. I'm pretty sure Brian Flores could have won with that.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, but the offense I don't think would have been nearly as good as it is right now.
We're not going to have this conversation and have me picking between two. I like both guys. I like both guys.
In another vein here, like, don't we see this happen in college football a lot?
Oh, yeah.
We see a team that's kind of like mediocre but talented. They change coaches and they have a banging couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
And then said coach comes in because he doesn't recruit well. Then it goes back down the toilet, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
long story short, it was super unprofessional, and none of us are here for the hire. But what you gonna do?
I just want to say this. It's not that I'm not here for the hire. I'm not here for how it happened.
Yeah,
I'm not here.
Sure.
I think it's the most disrespectful thing to the process and to the entity of coaching that could possibly have been done.
Sure, absolutely.
Another evidence-based move on why they keep calling this a lack of a professional career, right? Mark Jackson was 121 and 109. He compiled a record of 121 wins and 109 losses in his coaching career with the Warriors. That was 2 years long. Steve Kerr won 140 times and lost 24 times
Mm.
in the first 2 years.
Those numbers don't add up.
And got some rings too.
Yep.
There's too many games in Mark.
Yes, there's too
Yeah,
many
no, I
games
know. I
on
said
one
that
side.
too, but that's what it says on the internet.
Yeah,
I
maybe but
He won more
I think-
games. We
okay,
all
so-
get that.
He won more
So
games.
I
I got
think
the
that,
ring.
and nobody discounts that Mark Jackson was a huge part in building that team. I don't think you can't take that away from him, but clearly,
He built the foundation.
yeah,
Absolutely.
my man's getting it done.
Oh, now
It was,
look,
sorry,
at
I
this
added an
point,
extra year.
Steve Kerr's the best coach in the NBA.
So he won 98 games and lost 66 games.
There we
Mark
go.
Jackson did. There you go.
There we go.
They had added a year that I wasn't accounting for. My bad. My apologies. Anyways, that was my fact check for the night. I'm done. With that said, we're going to stay on the football landscape. We're going to stay with the football effery for the young years.
Or maybe lack of this week. Maybe.
Oh no.
Or maybe
Maybe
No,
lack of.
sir.
Maybe lack of.
the lack
I
of
think-
playing on
no.
some fields.
It's
That's what
all
you
over,
can say.
it's all over the place.
There's clearly some lack of it this week. Clearly some.
Right.
I'll say this.
Not really.
For once, with enough time left to go in the season, things have cleared themselves up as to who has their own destiny in their hands. Because what I was most in the uproar about as of last week was it was clear, present, and obvious that TCU could have won every game they had left and they weren't going to get it as long as the teams ahead of them won. Right? I mean, that was just clear. Like TCU was never going to.
We don't need to talk about that anymore.
No, but I'm saying that's where things were. So
thanks to Georgia and LSU. Hey.
Georgia did their job, right? Which was clear and obvious. But the most important two things that happened, right, was that LSU beat Alabama, but that's actually less as important as Clemson getting punched in the face by Notre Dame. Because Clemson,
but also let's make this clear now too. Now, because if Tennessee beats Georgia, then it's not as simple.
Yeah.
Because it's Georgia.
Yeah.
Because it's Georgia. Yeah.
Yeah, and trust me, that they're going to try to figure out the narrative to continue to push LSU to where they're on the precipice. Because am I right now? LSU's in the driver's seat to go to the SEC championship.
Yes.
Right. If they win their games, right. And so I can just tell you this: nobody, and I repeat, nobody wants to see LSU play Georgia in the SEC championship.
Which is why
LSU
there's
wins. Like nobody wants to see that.
Yeah. It's in at the end of the day because so that just opens up so much nonsense and conjecture. I would get a headache trying to explain it all. But the one thing is clear though. As long as LSU does their job, Alabama's sitting at home this year.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
There's no world Alabama gets in the playoffs. Let's not even start that tonight.
Right.
It's
No
never about Alabama getting in or out.
Hold on a second. That's what it's about for me. Don't take my shine away.
Okay, well, that's fine.
Alabama ain't getting in, and 3 SEC teams aren't getting in. So let that go.
Okay, so I just since people don't often like to hear this from me, let me be clear. Anyone else, because I know the EP saw it. When the Saturdays were over, up until this moment right now, has ESPN, yes or no, still continue to push the narrative that 3 SEC teams could absolutely get it?
You already know the answer to that because I put it in the group chat.
But I want you to tell the audience.
Here's the thing.
I want you to say it out loud.
I will tell the audience for him. Yes, they have pushed the narrative. But I will say this, as I said last year, and nobody wanted to listen to me until the 4 teams were announced. Okay. That anybody that thinks there's 3 SEC teams get into this year are delusional, and they need to stop drinking because it's not happening.
Okay. Now that's fine. I want to be clear. The last time we broached this subject, all I said was that the table had been set for that to happen and that was factual. Alabama fumbled the bag. That's what they did. Now, LSU, under Brian Kelly, which I find hilarious, by the way. All you people that been talking trash all summer and halfway through the fall about Brian Kelly, you better be happy, because you ain't getting a better coach. Okay, so LSU,
I wouldn't go that far, but
you tell me who they can hire there that's better than him.
Okay, no, there's a lot of people better than him, but anyway, that's your opinion versus mine. So,
anyway,
okay.
So LSU.
Okay, so all I'm gonna tell you is this. Okay, since you broached that subject, when the man wins a big game, like a title, not a game, a title, then I will consider your argument. But he has yet to do that.
Well, that is true, but now he has superior, better talent, right? That's what I'm told with everybody.
No, hold on a second. See, no, we're not gonna go there again, are we?
No, just sir, wait a minute.
Are we doing this again?
Wait a minute. You said that. Okay, are you done?
No, I'm done.
Can you finish your point, Clyde, so we can?
I mean, can I? I don't know. Can I
go?
No, you
can't.
Let's hear
it, Clyde.
You can't.
So LSU is in the driver's seat. They have their own. They get to the SEC championship. If they beat Georgia,
I said that nobody wants to see that. I said
the table is still set, because let's be clear. Georgia's number 1, Ohio State's number 2, Michigan's number 3. Let's be clear about this. Michigan and Ohio State are occupying the same spot. Right. So don't be fooled by the 2 and the 3. One of them's going to win the game, the other one's not, and that one's going to be out.
Mm-hmm. So they're 2A and 2B.
Yes. Right. So TCU is actually number 3, not number 4. Yep. And Tennessee is actually number 4, not number 5. Okay. So let's be clear about that, because Tennessee is not going to the SEC championship game. So they're just going to win the rest of their games and be sitting there with 1 loss. We've seen this movie before, people.
Facts.
Yep.
We've seen this. My issue
what's behind Tennessee? That's the only question.
Exactly. Which is where I will not let Lucius claim that there are no shenanigans. Oh, because there's right now, first of all, very quickly, Lamar, I told you so about Clemson. Anyway,
this guy, he just couldn't let that one go.
No, I couldn't let that go.
Listen, I'm happy for
nobody
my guy,
on this planet.
Yeah, nobody.
Can we please let
Notre
Clyde finish his point?
So I want to know. Number 10 is Clemson. Magically, somehow, some way, there are 2 teams in the SEC with 2 losses that are still in the top 10. LSU is number 7 and Alabama is number 9. Now, all I'm saying, and the math of it is understood, the whole gripe that TCU fans have is, look at our strength of schedule, blah, blah, blah. The rankings are a part of that. So Alabama and LSU sitting in the top 10, for example, ahead with 2 losses, ahead of a UCLA, for example, with 1 loss. Okay, but that's the issue, right? USC is number 8, Oregon is number 6. Oregon and USC could easily win out and play each other in the Pac-10 championship. Or UCLA could beat SC in their head-to-head in 2 weeks and play Oregon for the Pac-10 championship, of which Oregon just beat them down at Austin. But what if they avenge that loss on a neutral site? There's no universe where UCLA is going to climb all the way up into the show. So if you think that LSU can't go in and win that championship, and the 3 SEC fiasco is still not on the table, it absolutely is. TCU can absolutely lose. And I would venture to tell you that they will.
So as I said before, like, let's just, if you look at these, I agree 100% with you, Clyde. The Tennessee is sitting there looking really pretty right now. Right. I don't feel that 1 loss is as painful as most people might make it out to be.
If they win out, they're in.
They're in. They're going.
However, when you think about what will happen to TCU if they lose any one.
So my question is this. Okay, so I'm a little bit confused. You know, I'm a little slow, so I need y'all to help me sometimes, right? So if Georgia wins out, Ohio State wins out,
Yep.
TCU wins out,
Tennessee's in.
Tennessee's in.
Okay.
Yes.
So there's going to be two. There's going to be two.
Okay.
Yeah, no,
Not
the
three.
season starts with two. There's
So,
no universe.
can we not do that tonight, please? Can we not do that tonight? Can we not do that tonight? No, it's not right there. No, it's not right there. It's not right there.
I mean, look. Okay, and maybe Lamar can explain how Clemson drops all the way to 10.
Because they're not
Because they got destroyed. Because they got destroyed by a team that's not even ranked.
They got
here's the thing. Look, you know, I don't know whether this nonsense you guys spew to me every other week is true or not. But like you guys, because you're so caught up in this nonsense, you don't pay attention to what happened on the field. They got curb stomped by a not very good Notre Dame team.
Yeah, I was going to answer the question. I mean, it's really simple. They got beat by a Notre Dame team that had two of the worst losses in college this year. Right. So at the end of the day, like, it doesn't even matter. Like, Marcus is doing a good job and Notre Dame's playing a lot better than they were at the beginning of the season. But when you look at the resume, you see who Notre Dame lost to, and then you get doubled up by them, you're going to pay a price for that. Especially when people were wondering how good you were in the first place.
Right. And that's part of the problem with the Pac-12, right? To Utah is the Pac-12's problem because they lost to Florida.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, these are facts, right?
You're absolutely right, sir. listen, if we want
these are things that happen on the field,
and I don't care what.
No, hold on a second. Let's not do that. Okay, look, I'm not pretending anything. Okay,
No.
This is how. This is any. Okay, no. Let's not do that tonight. Let's talk about what us 5 people on these tiles. This is how I feel. Not pretending. What I'm saying to you guys is this. There's no world where I can definitely tell you that the nonsense that you guys claim is going on goes on. I can't say definitely it doesn't, right? But all I'm saying to you is at some point in time, if you're a true college football fan, pay attention to what happens on the field.
Well, that's my point. What happens on the field, listen, I don't care what school we're talking about at all. There's no universe where I believe, just like in the NFL, just like in the NBA, hell, in college track, my season's going to open mid-January. We're going to run races. They're going to be whatever they're going to be. And the results of the opening meet don't mean a damn thing to me about how the season's going to end. To anybody, they don't mean nothing to you either.
No. But to the people that do these polls, it means something.
But that's my point. They only allow the opening weekend to mean something when it's convenient for what they want.
I disagree. I disagree.
Sir, if University of Oregon would have went all the way to Gainesville and won that game by 1 point or 50, they would get no credit for it.
It was Utah.
They would get no credit.
Well, here's my point to that. They shouldn't get credit for it because Florida's not a very good team this year. Now, if they came to Gainesville and beat Florida by a point or by 50 points and Florida ran the table the rest of the way, then they should get credit for it.
But they won't either way.
But they absolutely would because to your point, remember, it's the vaunted mighty SEC.
No. That's ESPN's point.
That goes to the narrative you're talking about with the rankings.
Right, but the narrative forever, the narrative at the start of the season, you can run the tape. Okay, the narrative at the start of the season is the SEC is amazing and the Pac-12 is trash. According to the rankings, the Pac-12 has 4 of the top 12 teams, 13 teams in the country. So the Pac-12 is still trash?
I'm not sure how we got to this point. We weren't talking about trash.
No, but that's the narrative.
Okay, so we weren't even talking about the narrative. We were talking about you guys recognizing what happens on the field. I'm not talking about a narrative. I don't listen to me.
Well, what happens on the field is that Utah's a damn good football team.
Hold on a second. My thing is this, okay? I don't care about the narrative. Okay. Utah's a damn good football team, right? but they got beat by a team that's not very good right now.
Cool, but no one's worried about Utah. Utah sitting number 13 in the country. UCLA has one loss to Oregon. SC has one loss. Oregon has one loss.
Right.
And who's Oregon's one loss to?
Huh?
Georgia.
Georgia.
Mhm.
Right. So I think like
and they got curb stomped by Georgia
in the opening weekend,
in the first week of the season.
Right. After losing their coach and half the team to the portal, they flew all the way to the Dome and got blown out.
Okay, here's the thing.
If they replay that game right now, you think they're getting blown out again?
Of yourself.
No.
Yes, I do. I absolutely do.
No shot.
Okay, we'll see.
We won't see.
But the bottom line is
Oregon can run the table and they're not getting in.
See, all I'm saying to you is, you guys do a great job, and maybe I shouldn't say you guys, you do a great job of changing the narrative, as you say, to fit what you're trying to prove. Okay. I don't care if they lost half their team or 3/4 of their team, right? I don't care if they lost all of their coaching staff. They knew the game was on their schedule. You have to go play the game. Now, the narrative would be totally different if they beat Georgia, right? Now, look, Oregon's doing a fantastic job. Right? They beat everybody else on their schedule. So then why are they, was the second week of the season that big of a difference from the first, or the third that is from the first?
Let me ask you a
Let me finish. Let me finish. The bottom line is Georgia's a better football team, and they were better prepared that day.
That's fine. Let me ask you a question. If Oregon does not lose again and is the Pac-12 champion, do they get the number 4 spot over Tennessee?
In my mind, they absolutely should.
Should, but will they is the question.
Well, I don't know. I don't sit in those rooms.
Well,
that would be an interesting
thing.
Okay,
hold a second. So I'll tell you what I'll do. Let me do a deep dive. I'll get back to you next week.
So I'll say this.
Because I'm gonna tell you right now, since she wants me to do this, I'm gonna tell you who the final four are gonna be. Just like I did last week.
That's what we want. Lustradamus. Okay. That's what we want.
You're gonna get
using the parameters, and they come from all over the place.
I can't stand here, by the way.
Using the parameters that the committee usually uses, I will say this: if Georgia wins out, Ohio State wins out, TCU wins out, Tennessee wins out, and Oregon wins out, Oregon will pass Tennessee in the very last poll. Because Oregon will be because Oregon will be they'll be a Power 5 champion, and that'll be the one thing that they have. Because the resumes are identical. Like this has happened. That's the one thing that breaks up the as you put it. The SEC always gets 2.
Exactly.
Right. Because they will only have one loss, and it will be to the number 1 team in the country. I agree with you, Clyde. If they only had one loss and it was to anybody in the Pac-12. If they had one loss and it was to Utah, then no.
Here's where, now this is where the whole first week of the season thing will help you. Because they will say, well, they lost to Georgia the first week of the season, but they've been so much better since then. And they're the Pac-12 champions.
And that's cool.
That's where that argument will help you in that case.
Okay, so and that's cool. So to Lamar and whoever else, great. Because again, if you look at what's going on out west right now, again, Oregon, SC, and UCLA all have one loss. And one of those 3 teams is going to run that table and become the Pac-12 champion, most likely. If to Lamar's point, if USC does it because their one loss wasn't to the SEC, they can't get in. If UCLA does it,
that's not what he said.
They can't get in.
That
is what he said.
That isn't what I said.
Being a Power 5 champion would get him in.
And also their one loss would be to the number 1 team in the country. Because the issue you have is if anybody but Oregon wins out, Tennessee's only got one loss, and it will be to Georgia.
So Lucius, you heard that, right? So he is saying exactly what I'm telling you he's saying.
Okay.
If UCLA in 2 weeks beats USC head-to-head in the rivalry, the winner of that game is going to be in the Pac-12 championship from the South. Oregon's going to be in that championship game from the North, right? So let's say UCLA beats USC, goes to the championship, and avenges their loss to Oregon. They're not getting in over Tennessee. And that's crazy.
I mean, I'll say that they definitely won't be guaranteed it. They definitely won't. I agree with you. I think the only team in the Pac-12 that has a lock at getting in if they win the rest of their games is Oregon.
Now, if UCLA or USC runs the table and they get in, I mean, they don't get in to a one-loss Tennessee team, there's definitely a travesty there because they're a one-loss team. Like Tennessee is a one-loss team. And the difference is they are a Power 5 conference champion. They absolutely should be in the top 4. And then now, if that happens, then I'm all on the bandwagon.
Now I will say this: that has happened
absolutely
like 3 times before. But the thing is, all 3 times it was
3
Alabama.
times before.
Yeah, I see the 2 or 3, and I know for
Alabama.
sure
No, just once with Alabama. Alabama's gotten in one time when they weren't the SEC champ. One time. Stop that.
Was it LSU? Stop that. Was it LSU?
I don't know, but it was.
Okay.
No, LSU won when LSU got in, they won. They were undefeated. LSU won.
I'll have
Joe Burrow didn't lose.
You have your predictions next week.
Lose to anybody.
You have your predictions next week.
Y'all just stop with y'all just add in salt and pepper to stuff that's already spiced.
You're gonna have your predictions next week, and we will have the list of the times that this crap has happened because it's definitely.
I do recall the one time with Alabama. I do not discount that one, but this 3 or 4 times thing. No.
Extra.
Lustradamus is coming next week.
Hey, just all I gotta say to Lamar is this: 54, baby.
Oh, I thought that was the number of rings you had. My bad.
No, 3. That's 3 short. My bad.
I'm about to say.
He didn't have enough fingers.
No, he had a toe.
He had toes.
He had a toe. It's off the camera.
No.
I know 54.
No. See, I have to get at him because he's been poking at me about that for years. So I ought to get him every now and then.
Oh man,
that's funny.
But see, I will tell you this, Clyde. Like, see, you start to pull me in, and I'm like, yeah, he might be right, and then you say something that's so far off the wall. Like, I can't ride with you anymore.
He jumps off the boat.
Exactly. I'm like,
right.
You know what?
We'll get him in. We'll get him in the boat.
Back to shore. I'm swimming back to shore. I can't do it. And the thing is, I think he knows he's pulling me in. I think he does. And I was like, no, I need a life jacket.
I mean, for real life chaos though, we really did need Clemson to keep winning because then it would have just been absolute chaos.
Yeah, right.
That's funny. All right. So as if there wasn't enough chaos within college football and the NFL now, the real chaos of the night, specifically the night that we're recording, is that we just opened up submissions for National Letter of Intents, NLIs. Yeah. Like, okay, so on this week.
Not NIL, NLI.
Not NIL, yeah, right. National Letter of Intents. That's why I said it first. But so we had, for the NCAA mandate, had to have no CARA yesterday for civic engagement. Mm-hmm. I legitimately feel like coaches should have today off for mental health. I don't even know. Because for the love, the messages and the calls that I received today, just based on my NLI, my this and that, but you said this is this, but I want this in writing. And I'm like, what?
Well, what I love, and I'm going to ask all of you guys a question, but what I love in today's landscape is all your bills are paid, but it's not a full.
True. And let's be clear.
So first of all, we need to toss the question up. So it's your job to ask the question.
No, absolutely. The question for me is really simple. I wish part of me wishes I could have to answer this, but I don't. You 4 wonderful people are college coaches, so I will ask you, the landscape has changed so much in recruiting, and the calendar has changed so much in recruiting. Like, how are you guys doing things, and are you doing things differently this fall than, we'll say, most other or any other falls?
I'll start.
Governor, why did that tickle you so much? Like he couldn't get it out of his mouth and you were laughing. So you must go first. Yeah, you're leading this thing off. Yeah.
Here's the part that just, I'm still actually kind of wrestling with this because, I don't know about you, Clyde, obviously, Clyde, you are, you're pretty much starting and building the dynasty. The dynasty as we know it is on our panel, right? So we've got two different, sides.
We're gonna need you to answer the question and stop dancing around.
Well, I was gonna say no around the block to get across the street comments.
I'm trying to stop him before he gets halfway around the block. He keeps going.
I will bring up a conversation that I had a couple of weeks ago. Because my recruiting has been a mix of, having kids on campus, doing Zoom calls, that sort of thing. And I'm on a Zoom call with a recruit, and I explained that there is no early signing period anymore. And the fact is that once, National Signing Day hits, that there is a complete blanket period of time between November all the way through August where you can sign
any day.
You should have heard the silence on the other end of the camera when those parents and the kid is sitting there looking at me like, what do you mean? And I'm like, well, I mean what I said. You can sign in December, you can sign in January, you can sign in February, you can sign in March. And they're like, wow, like I could hear the air in the balloon just, And so, not to say that I'm ambivalent to what's going on this week. I'm seeing, the signings and kids sitting down on their tables and they're having their big, to-dos and all of that stuff. And I love it. I love it. I love the energy. But the landscape has changed so much when it comes to recruiting that I cannot get excited about this week. I cannot get excited about next week. I cannot get excited about January, February, March. No, this is now a 10-month period where you are looking for the best individuals for your team. Period, point blank. And there's this never-ending search. You're searching for those kids, whether it's portal, whether it's international, whether it's junior college, whether it's high school. Like you, as much reconnaissance as I've done this past summer, this fall, bringing kids on campus, getting a chance to meet them, all of that, I still have to think about, all right, where does this kid fit? Where's this kid going to be in April? Right? Where is this kid going to be in May? Like what are we looking at? What's coming down the pipe? Which diamonds in the rough are just going to pop out of nowhere? Right? So it's a very interesting time for me as a recruiter. I don't have the first world problems that Sir Lucius has. So it's not a situation that I'm particularly rushed or I'm particularly, just flustered or everybody's making these moves. What am I going to do? No, not at all. I am literally going to take my time and find the right pieces. And when these two things come together and we come to an agreement and we realize that we're fit for each other, then I'll make the move. So that's where I'm at.
Huffins the lion, or Lamar the lion, I'm sorry. He went around the block 3 times.
Listen, I was just gonna sit here until I got my until I got that comment out of you, because I know for sure if that was me, you would have just lit me on fire.
You know what's hilarious about what just happened? He went so far around the block. I don't remember the original question, but he said it in a very governor-esque way.
Yes,
so
he did.
I didn't
Absolutely.
mind listening to any of it, but I have no idea what question I'm supposed to be answering.
Well, okay. What is
how are you approaching?
Yes.
How are you approaching recruiting this fall?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Gee, thanks.
Honestly, and I'm sure I will get a lesson from the king here in a second. But honestly, me and mine are not approaching recruiting currently any differently than I ever have.
Mm-hmm.
And here's why. My recruiting principles for the entirety of my career have been pretty simple. Tell people the truth, be authentic, and hold tight to the vision that you have for the program, or if you're an assistant, to the vision that your leadership has for the program. And I don't know, man, like, no matter how many times the rules change, no matter what the new gimmick is, whether it's the time frames that change, whether it's the NLI, NIL stuff that changes, transfer portal, just being honest and being myself has always served me extremely well. For our team specifically, apparently we are building a dynasty. Thank you for the added pressure, Governor. I like it.
And in those flames.
We did an amazing job last year identifying talent and bringing them into the program. And so our needs this year are significantly smaller than they were a year ago. So it definitely doesn't feel like the whirlwind that it was last year, but that also gives us an opportunity to make more specific targets and more, now it's not, well, I need to get X number of kids that run the 400 so I can have a legitimate 4x4. Or we have a bunch of options that have a legitimate 4x4. So now it's like, do I really need that one? How much more value are they going to bring, right? And I guess, if anything, that's the difference between last year at this time and this year at this time. But my overall principles in recruiting have not changed with the changes within the sport. And maybe they should, but until I start getting out recruited by the majority, I'm gonna keep doing what I do.
Recruiting now is different, obviously, because the new leadership within our institution, our program. So, looking at the landscape a little bit differently, through a different lens. Now having a different, or being more acclimated to some of the aids, and I call them different wallets that we can pull from, and learning the ins and outs and the things to watch for, the things to be cautious of, things like that. So, as FAFSAs get turned in and the EFC comes back, and, if you don't know what the EFC predicts, then let's have a conversation. But looking at the EFC, and the EFC doesn't match the kid or match the family, you're like, did we enter the numbers and they didn't like them? And, whatever it is, if they use the net price calculators or whatnot on the websites, just kind of looking out for that stuff. We are vetting the numbers a little bit differently now that we're looking at different wallets. In regards to athletes who were taking on, we had a conversation within this circle here as to how do I say this without giving out all the beans? What's sound and what's not, as to what's being looked at. And so and more so on my part as the role of recruiting coordinator. And, you know, there are times when you're so confident in your seat that you start second guessing the seat. I feel like I know how I'm doing my job. And then I'm so confident, I'm like, wait, am I missing something? And so, you know, luckily I personally am blessed enough to have these 4 other childs to put a question in the group chat and be like, hold on. I don't know if this is sounding right. So, but I mean, I know I'm giving very vague answers, but it's because it's a whole different landscape and we don't necessarily have the narrowed scope that Clyde's referring to. Right now, our spectrum is pretty wide because we're trying to figure out how we're going to take this ship and maneuver it.
Okay. I mean, for me, I'm a lot like Clyde. I don't think, not a lot different than what we've ever done. But if you've ever heard me speak, I talk about my P's a lot. And when it comes to recruiting, my P's are patient, purposeful planning. Okay. And so to the governor's point, there's a lot of, you know, areas you can draw from now. And because there's so many slices of that pie out there, then you have your hands on a lot of them. But like, you take the person that wants to be in your program, you know, and the athletes have to understand that, hey, we're making this offer, but the money could go away because I can't afford to wait on you if you're going to sign in January, February, or March. If I've got somebody that may not be as good as you, but I know they want to be here and they can help me, then I have to take that person. And then obviously, you know, because of the portal situation, if you don't get anybody early, you just sit back and patiently wait. You know, somebody's going to show up. You know, as a high school kid's going to show up, or somebody's going to show up that you can get. So the big key thing for us is patience and not just going out and getting people because we want to say we signed someone. Purposeful meaning we have to have somebody that helps us, you know, in some way. And the planning part means we're going out and we're talking to the right athletes.
I'm going to ask this question because this is a question that I get asked from time to time in regards to scholarship. I'm sorry, not scholarship recruiting, but tied into scholarships. With money left on the table, let's call it at midyear. Do you all feel that you should sign the money away and maybe get a lesser, and I'm using that very loosely, I'm just giving it a title, a lesser athlete, or keep that money on the table for the coming fall, so a year from now?
It literally depends on what your priorities are for the program. Case in point, and I'm gonna do something audacious. I'm gonna speak to Sir Lucius. If you tell me that assistant
Look at his face.
If you tell me the assistant coach X walks into Sir Lucius's office in the middle of December and says, "Hey, Kareem Street Thompson is available. We can get him in January." Sir Lucius is going to hit the button because Kareem Street Thompson helps him immediately win the big prize.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you tell him, you know, the kid who, you know, might be able to make, you know, the SEC final in an event, lower level, you know, 6th, 7th, 8th place is available in January. He'd be like, yeah, but do we really need that?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But he's playing a specific game for the big title. If your priority is trying to win your conference at whatever school you're at, it's the same calculation, just on a lower scale. Can this kid walk in the door and help us right now? Then spend the money. If it's a project, what the hell do I need a mid-year project for? That's my attitude. But some people, they might just need a mid-year project. Some people might need some roster spots. Like even where my program is right now, I'll happily sign somebody for mid-year, but they better be an NCAA level game changer for us.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, I got all the developmental talent I need. I right now, I need people that can come in the door and make some headlines.
Right.
And if they're out there, I will spend, right? But if it's not going to make a splash, I don't need a mid-year. But that's just me.
So you spoke to two more P's for me. One's priority, right? And he's absolutely right. I'm signing Kareem Street Thompson twice. Okay, no doubt, right?
And all the
No
ultra.
doubt, exactly, because now we're jumping, we're sprinting. My relay just got better, so yeah, I'm signing that kid. And the other thing is too, I never need a project. I don't need a project at any point in time, to be honest with you. But I'm definitely not taking one at mid-year. You know,
I thought
like,
you were going to use the other P, portal.
Petty.
Sir Lucius.
Right. Petty. Thank
Sir
you.
Lucius,
Thank
I don't think you understand what kind of, red table talk this could be, just based on your P's. I'm telling you, man.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
This is good. This is good stuff. I'm writing down stuff.
No, you understand now. Like when I speak, I speak about. I've got a long list of P's now. I do that all day. It's amazing the words that start with the letter P that are very meaningful to my program. And so I think that like when you like the problem I have is that people recruit some people because everybody else is recruiting them, right? And that's a mistake that I used to make. Well, everybody else wants her, or everybody else wants him.
So
I'm like,
must be something good, right?
Yeah, but then so now I'm like, yeah, we'll be okay. Like last year, we absolutely got clubbed early on. Nobody wanted to come here. We actually got two pretty good recruits in the first part. A lot of money laying around. I'm like, we'll be fine. We got two great ones. We'll be good. And then you guys know what happened. I don't have to go into all that, but
P is for portal.
another P for portal, and So, but at the end of the day, that's where
Thanos the whole landscape.
That's where the patience part of it came in. You don't panic.
Another P.
You don't panic. Right. Another P. Panic. Yeah. There you go.
Right now, DeAndre Woods is writing down everything that just all.
Can I stick one thing in there? Just I want to give my 1 cent to Coach Chu on this particular perspective. This has always been my thought. And this is all the way back to my first started coaching. Unless the young man or young lady is, as has been described, a game changer, you're better off with money than the kid.
By and large,
I think that's exactly what Clyde was alluding to right there. Yeah.
Like you're better off with money, and because if you have money, there's a lot of kids that'll be attracted, right? And I kid Sir Lucius about this all the time. But the best thing that ever happens to him, and I'm not going to give it all away, but I'll say this: the best thing that ever happens to him is when a kid slow plays things, because this is what happens. That kid is still coming to Florida, but they're just going to come to Florida and pay a whole lot more money than they would have in the first place. Because if they decide when he offered them, they were at this. And as they wait, it goes like this, right? And then the kid finally realizes the best offer I had was in the first place. So, tucks tail, calls Sir Lucius and says, "Can I still come?" He starts laughing with the kid on mute, and he's like,
that doesn't happen. That does not happen.
I think I had some. Listen, I had a kid do this, that, and the third. I think we have some change left. Let me check the lint in my pocket. We have 23.5%.
So listen, to that point, let me say this, and this it's twofold, right? Because all sides of the business function off of this, right? I've been telling people forever, once the transfer portal came and it works the way that it works, from a coaching standpoint, the big mistake that a lot of people are making is that everybody thinks they can go in the portal and get, the guy or get the girl. And the truth of the matter is you actually can't. You don't have the mouthpiece, you don't have the program, you don't have the glitz and glamour, right? If super talented kid X who's at a mid-major is in the portal, you're probably not going to get them to come to the mid-major. The whole point is they want an upgrade.
Yes, right.
And if they were already at P5 school, hot brand X, highly unlikely that they're going to take a step all the way down to whatever you're selling. So there's way too many coaches thinking they can pull the Sir Lucius out of the portal. You can't. And on the flip side, there's way too many high school coaches, high school athletes, high school parents that are not paying attention to the fact that the entire industry is chasing the portal. So if you have an offer on the table, you better pick it up. Yeah. Because to Lamar's point, mathematically, week after week and month after month, the pie is going to get smaller by definition.
Mm-hmm. Another P.
And you know something? I look, we're on this, and to the governor's point, like this really is a really good red table talk, because I'm going to say this. Here's the piece of the pie that nobody. It's the truth piece, right? That nobody will actually tell the kids or the parents. When you hit a big mark as a junior, you are today's hotness. Every week that goes by that your PR is a week older, so every week you go by that you're still being recruited off that PR is worth less. See, because if you run 1172 as a female, as a junior in high school, most schools have interest in you, some level of interest. But by April of your senior year, 1172 is just okay. Right? Because 1172 was a predictor, isn't like I'm paying in the, when there were two signing periods, right? I would pay for that potential. There's another P word, right? I would bet on that 1172 that it's going to be 1145 and you're going to be the hotness next year. When you don't, and I've already signed you, I got to eat it and we'll work it out. But now.
So imagine what it must be like for that athlete, okay, that puts that time out. A mid-major is going, ooh, well, the mid-major is thinking, all right, if athlete X improves like I think she is, you know what, I'm going to wait and see. So now you're evaluating while this athlete is probably thinking, you know what, I probably should have signed by now, but no one's biting. Why is no one biting right now? Right? And so that athlete's teammate finally figures it out, drops 11.5 at the state meet. What's going to happen at that point? Right? Like these are real scenarios that are playing out. And I feel like, and the whole reason why I thought this was a valid topic is because, again, in the past, with early signing, with having to wait until April to sign someone again, you kind of had to take some chances, some major chances in the fall. You had to do some major whining and dining all the way up until November, right? You had to play the game, right?
Well, even beyond the whining and dining, you had to do your homework.
Yeah.
Because those one-off numbers couldn't be the glitz and glamour. It had to be supported. Yes. And if you did it, then you were buying sight unseen.
Right.
At the end of the day.
Exactly. So it's much more fluid, in my opinion now. And you're having some really hard conversations with some kids that probably feel that they're being slighted, or why is this coach dragging me along? Why are we not sealing this deal now? And there's just more that we have to sift through. It's no longer just about the high school kid or the international kid.
Absolutely. Right. And if you're at the mid-major, and I've always said this, like if there's an 11-7 athlete that you see potential in, you better go all in.
Absolutely.
Because the moment that child goes indoors and runs something well good in the 60 or even the 55, all of a sudden the P5 show up.
Oh, listen. When I was at the mid-major, my whole goal was to go after kids I knew that Sir Lucius would want in the spring. Like that would, that's the right kid. Because if I get them and I get them to sign before the spring, because it happened. Like, look, when we signed, because I can talk about it because I was out of school. When we signed Kurt Felix, nobody knew. Nobody knew. And then he went to the JUCO national meet and scored 42 points by himself. Dennis Shaver and a couple other folks were like, yo, what's up? Blah, blah, blah. He's like, I've been signed since the fall.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, but that was the game, right? But that's the point. That's the whole reason we asked the question. Now that there's no break, right? You don't get those last minute panic phone calls either. So you miss those days too, where all right, you wanted a kid really bad, right? It was down to, you know, we like to pick on Sir Lucius. It's down to us and Sir Lucius, right? I already know what's going to happen. You're number 2 or 3 on the list, on Sir Lucius's list. You're going to get that offer, and he never did this. That's why I can mess with him. But you're going to get that offer if 1 and 2 don't take it. But if 1 and 2 do take it, now there's no money left. Right? On Tuesday, before signing period happens on Wednesday, you get the phone call. Sir Lucius didn't have my money. Like, is the offer still stand with y'all? Why? Well, yes, it does, but I did have somebody take an offer, blah, blah, blah. And so now you give them the 10% tax. Absolutely and positively happened every year. And that's why they're laughing, because they know I'm right. Look, there's a price that you pay for indecision.
I can't with
So
you.
I'll say this
wrap
part.
them up, please.
I know. Well, I'll say this though. I think that where in the general scope of things, the landscape has changed is with social media. The power has gone to, and it was alluded to earlier, the power has gone to the athletes, the recruits, to an extent, because we see what's going on, right? They post all the pictures from the recruit visits. We post the conversations at home visits. We post the thanks for the calls. And so whether they're good, bad, and different, it stirs a little bit.
Well, they do videos for who makes it into their top 5.
No, absolutely. And I have a recruit currently, funny enough, side note, who got scammed to make the video, and they lost money.
Boy. Wow.
So there's a whole nother underworld on that. And maybe Sir Lucius doesn't see this, and rightfully so. But you know, the assistant coaches on his staff, because you don't need to do this. That's why I'm saying it, because in your chair, you don't need to do this. Your assistants will see, well, this person keeps coming up on the timeline. Do I need to go look at them? Right. And so, like you said earlier, where the athletes who are being recruited by everyone, for us assistants, we're like, do we need to put our hat in the ring on that? Like, can we take a step back and be okay not being in that one? What are the optics going to look like? What is that coach who's on that end going to say? Things of that nature. You know, what is administration going to say? What are my peers going to say? So all of that in regards to the recruiting landscape.
2 more P's there, peers and posts. So, but
those are things.
So here's what I'm going to say to you. Okay, so and Lamar and I've had this discussion, right? Lamar has been here and seen the machine that is Florida track and field, and I have the luxury of just like, I just go coach every day. You know, I have that much support here, and that's probably the biggest advantage I have over most of the place else. Like, you know, Daryl and Ronnie were here. And Ronnie made the point, it's like watching a professional football team. Like, come out, practice, everybody does their thing, and they go home, and you know, that's what we do. But at the end of the day, see, you are putting things into this that shouldn't be there, right? In my opinion, like, my administration should not be telling me who to recruit, nor should they tell me who I can't recruit. As long as they meet the grades and they meet the NCAA regulations, if I feel like they can up the program, then I have the right to recruit them here. Right. So there's no world where you should be looking at a recruit going, man, I don't know if the administration gonna like that. Right. Because all you want to know is the administration gonna like how many points you score at the end of the year.
No, listen,
that's all that matters. Another P, points.
And that's also a very specific context, right? I try not to get in battles with my administrators, right? That's just a good business practice.
Absolutely.
But I
the best practice,
right? I promise you, the only true straight up, like, out loud hollering battle that I ever got into with an administrator was the summer after I was at ArtU, the summer after we won 2 national championships. I walked into the office with my proper paperwork for 2 young ladies who we were getting ready to, you know, start recruiting. And my administrator asked me, well, are we sure we want these people? And I was like, who are you? What are you talking about? Like, your job is to sign the document, not ask me if I actually need kid XYZ. Like, that's not how this works. So if you're in an environment where your administrators are dictating who you recruit and why, that's a little odd to me. But, you know, everybody got their own plights and problems. But I mean, if you're in a chair, if you're in the chair, you're supposed to be dictating who you recruit and why and coming up with your strategy. If you're an assistant, you're supposed to be following the lead of the boss. If all of you are taking your P's and Q's from the soup, it's probably going to end badly.
Facts.
Well,
All right.
that was a good little session there. So that was definitely a convention symposium worthy. You're welcome all. You can have your $395 back now.
Oh my God. You know what I'm waiting for? I'm waiting for somebody to attend the convention, like from beginning to end, and then demand a refund at the end because all the things that were promised at the convention just flat out didn't happen.
Don't do that. Convention's awesome. Don't do that.
I said I'm waiting for somebody else to do it. You know, I'm not going to do it. I mean,
You don't even pay to go to the convention. What are you talking about?
I don't convince.
I'm actually looking forward to the Spades game. That's what I'm looking forward to.
As are many, I'm sure.
Many are.
Oh my gosh.
Listen, Clyde, speaking of which, we have to get like referee shirts or something.
Oh God.
Hey, we could do all kind of things. We need to get an online registration form.
Oh my God, I'll make one. Google Docs.
Yes.
I heard you got it. I got a
Thank
Google
you.
form.
Thank you, Coach Chu.
So in the air of comedy, I'm going to give it comedy. It's going to be comedic, I'm sure. Sir Lucius has stepped up to the plate. Do not be the answer of questions for Would You rather the Steve Harvey of Would You Rather.
Oh boy.
So here's how this is going to work. This is kind of like my version of Do You Know, right? So we're going to start with Big League. You can give me a number between 1 and 6. Wow. I'm going to ask you a question. And if you don't know, then you can ask somebody else on the panel. And if you ask the wrong person, they can't help you. Then it's an epic fail on your part. I'm sorry.
Oh, damn.
All right, so
you realize
we're going to go Big League, then the Governor, then Clyde, then Lamar, and we'll go back to the top.
All right, number 3.
Okay, like there's no way you're getting this.
God damn.
Who leads the NCAA in receiving yards?
Oh man.
Oh, so we're going deep. Okay, like it. I'm here for this.
No, stay off your phones.
You already know Chu done typed everything.
No, I didn't. Hands up. Hands up.
All right. Lamar, get off your phone. Thank you. All right. So if you don't know,
I'm going, Governor, you're my lifeline.
Yeah, who's your lifeline?
The Governor's your lifeline.
Yeah, it's a good place to start.
Do I have to give the name or can I?
Is the school acceptable?
The school's acceptable if you think you can do that.
SMU.
You're right. Rasheed Rice from SMU. Okay. Look at the Governor saving
Love
you.
it. Love it.
Okay, Governor,
yes.
Pick a number.
Governor.
So three is eliminated. So any other number between 1 and 6.
I'm gonna go 6.
You can have my Jimmy John's next to me.
Okay. Okay. You're gonna love this one. Okay.
All right.
You ready?
Mm-hmm.
What is the longest standing men's NCAA indoor track record? Traditional event. Not field, track.
The longest standing NCAA record
Indoors.
on the track.
On the track.
Oh, I think I know.
See, I purposely went to the track because Lamar would have been salivating if I went to the field. So.
Yeah, well, I think I would have a better idea, but
which is why I didn't go there.
And we're talking men and women.
No, look, hold a second. Just as reading is fundamental, so is listening, sir. Okay. So let me do this again. What is the longest standing men's NCAA indoor track record? Traditional event.
Women's.
You need a lifeline because you're not going to get this one. Nobody's going to get this.
Lifeline.
Who you calling on?
I'm calling on Lamar.
Indoors.
Mm-hmm.
Standard events.
And so you could either get the person, the school, or the event, and I'll give you to you.
Ooh.
Wilson Kip Keeter, 800.
Wow, the 800 is right.
The 800 is right.
But it's Paul Aaron.
It is Paul Aaron. It's like he was he had on a Virginia uniform and he did
144.84.
Yeah.
Indoors.
Yeah, and the weird part about that is I think he ran 52.52. If you watch the race, he was dead last through 400.
Okay, now we're gonna move on. See, this is why we can't play trivia with you, because you just start spewing out. We can't do this. Okay.
So did I save him or not?
Yeah, you did. So you guys are 2 for 2. Clyde, you're up next, and Lord have mercy. Let's give Lamar a break. Clyde, what you got for me? 3 and 6 are gone.
3 and 6 are gone.
Anything between 1 and 5 now. Those 3 and 6 are gone.
1 and 5. I will take
1, 2, 4, and 5. Those are your choices.
1, 2, 4, 5. I will take 1.
Okay. All right. Who leads the NCAA in rushing yards?
USC.
Nope. Lifeline?
I'll take 2, but she don't know, so just tell her.
That was awful. Is Chase Brown from Illinois?
Illinois.
Oh, God,
interesting. Illinois. I didn't even go to the Midwest.
Right. Okay. So now the lion is up. 2, 4, or 5, sir?
Oh, I'll take number 2, Derek Jeter.
Oh,
number 2.
If you don't get this one, well, so on this one, okay. So who holds the women's 4x4 collegiate record indoors? And who were the ladies on the team?
Oh.
So this is a half and half.
Women's collegiate record indoors. Kentucky?
And you are wrong.
I can't remember. I remember the race, but I can't remember who won.
Okay.
I'm going to use, for sure, I'm going to use the governor for this one.
Governor?
Indoor, right?
Yeah.
4x4 women's.
Indoor 2x4.
I think I know the race. I just picked the wrong team.
Is it Texas?
No. Is it Arkansas?
It's Arkansas.
Right.
It's Arkansas.
I don't know who.
Right, but I can't name all 4 people. So
okay. All right, so he's got one of the 4. Can anybody give me any of the 3? What did you say, Clyde?
Britton Wilson.
Yeah.
Britton, that was your Alex. Give me any of the others.
No.
Okay. Anybody else got anything?
what is her name?
Okay, never mind.
I can't remember.
Rosie F. Young.
That's the one I was trying to remember.
To Jayla Hollis, to Shafiqua Mahoney. We call her Fifi for sure.
Fifi Mahoney.
Yeah, to Britton Wilson, which happened last year.
It happened last year. That's what I said. I remember the race.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So now we're back to Big League.
Me.
4 or 5?
5.
Okay. What is the longest standing women's NCAA track, outdoor track record?
Oh,
Traditional
gosh.
events. So you can give me the event or the person.
Hmm.
4 hurdles.
Come on now, Sydney's they're like
That's
like 20 seconds ago.
Come on, man. Yeah.
No, but she
Come
didn't run collegiately. Didn't you say collegiate?
She did run collegiately.
She did run collegiate.
Did you
Oh
miss
she
it?
went
shit! Yes, she did. Yes, she did. I
Okay.
lied. I lied.
Okay, so you
Damn
get your lifeline here,
Clyde.
Clyde.
He said running, and he's asking us. So clearly, it ain't a sprint or a hurdle event because he's trying to be funny. 4, 8.
See, that's what I did too.
God. I want to say it's it's probably wrong. I'm gonna say 1,500.
5K.
Damn it! That was
Damn
the other
it.
one
So
I was
that
gonna
was my
get.
next one. That was my next
Right.
one.
How long
Jenny Simpson.
ago?
So
Jenny
so that's
Simpson in
ridiculous.
2009. Yeah.
That I was like, is Jenny old enough for that to be the answer? I was
Yeah.
like,
But
it
it
feels like
just
it's
tells you
too
how
soon.
the sprints have been getting attacked lately. So you know it
Yeah.
was. You couldn't be the 800 because Miss Mo was just there. Right?
Oh yeah. It was never that wasn't.
Okay. All right. So all we have left is number 4, and we're to the governor now. And the governor, who leads the NFL in punt return yards?
No reason he should know that or anyone else.
Which is why I ask.
Cowboys?
No. Lifeline?
Oh, that's who I thought it was. So don't ask me.
I'm gonna throw it to Clyde.
Oh, I wasn't suggesting that I know it, but punt return yards.
God.
So a team with a defense that forces a lot of punts. Patriots or Buffalo?
And we would be wrong on both cases. It's actually Mr. Darden from Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
They've had to.
So
punt a
you
punt
guys
recently.
were 2 of 6.
Over.
That's not very good. 2 of 6.
2 for 6
Okay,
with
so-
lifelines.
With lifeline. So here's one that if you guys don't get this one, then you're gonna get kicked off the show. So this one goes to the panel, right? Name the starting backfield for the Pony Express.
Eric Dickerson and Craig. What's his first name?
His last name is Craig.
Yeah, I can't remember.
And you're getting kicked off the show.
What do you mean? The white dude, 33.
Last name ain't Craig.
Is his first name Craig?
Hey. Just trying to help you. Last
There's
name
a
ain't
Craig in there
Hold
somewhere.
on. It's God dang it.
Are we all getting kicked off the show? Really? I'm gonna be doing the show by myself next week. Choose me and you.
I can't get kicked off because I clearly have it correct. You got the white boy, number 33.
His name is not the white boy.
haircut.
That's not no.
Yeah. Oh
Craig.
God, why can't I remember his name all of a sudden? Oh my
I guess
God.
we'll give you partial credit.
Wait, what
because
team is it?
See, now
SMU is
you've-
Craig. What is his
No,
last name?
His first name is Craig. His last name is James.
Yes.
There you go, Craig James.
Yeah, Craig James.
I knew who he was.
So everybody can be on the show next week.
Yes, indeed.
And we're done. Well, we'll play.
Oh,
Hope you guys like my version of Would You Rather or Do You Know?
yes. I know nothing.
Man,
Know nothing. I know nothing.
I know
Like
nothing.
that.
I know how to hit record and post to YouTube.
unless we're in France.
No, I know how to do it. Just furnish connection. Anyway.
Would it be okay if we
And-
did not do Heartbeat Pops this week?
Yeah.
We're
That's
definitely not going to, sir.
Okay.
That is fine. That is totally fine. Well, without
Oh, wait.
further ado,
Wait,
what?
wait. I just want to know, because I forgot about this. I had to ask the king of all petty how he feels about Elon Musk charging $19.95 a month for people to have their blue checks.
Oh, it went up?
It was $8 last I
It
saw.
was $8. It was supposed to be $8.
Oh, it's it's $9.95 is what it is, not 19
Oh my God.
Listen,
a month.
Inflation.
listen. If you're stupid enough to pay it, you know, it is.
Oh my God.
Don't get it twisted. I am absolute. Tesla is undeniable. It is also undeniable that Elon Musk is a clown. So
He's a clown.
whatever. I don't live in the first world problems of the blue check status. So paying people to verify that they are who they are and they've already been verified is very, very interesting.
It's wild, right?
But people will pay it. And hey,
All power to
Optics.
drift on. America loves drift.
Optics of it.
Clearly.
Mhm.
Blue checks.
Well, anyhow, thank you all for taking the time to sit with us, learn from us, yell at us through your screens. And there's definitely a few laughing moments within the audience right now. I know we're getting messages and calls after this one. So everyone have a great week. Have a phenomenal time finishing up your weeks as we get into the break season. Let's call it the break season. But we'll see you all again next week. See everyone.
When the lights come on, the road just get to running. When the lights come on, opponents mess the plumbing. Heard you like it warm, hot, knife the butter. Truth pin them hard, knock them off that rebuttal. Tsunami, tidal wave to your puddle. Tough love, punch you in the arms, little brothers. Athletics LLC, there's no others. Track and fields, place and repeal to go further. Hey, Wile E. Coyote, it's road runners. Feels like you know us, you've been with us the whole summer. If not for this quarantine, these four corners wouldn't be here, but we're here, so start learning. You gotta earn your stripes, gotta get your scars. Show you how to fight, but show us who you are. You lack experience, but still you wanna talk. And who is actually talking to? Your circle's kinda small. Heads prevail when the backbone's strong. Gotta keep it coming, no, it won't last long. Pass and fail, then sell the sad song. And if you don't check yourself, then that's wrong. Just trying to give you the real that you asked for. So why you keep cutting us off to ask more? We put it in slow-mo, but you fast forward. Athletics LLC, the task force.